Hey everyone, thanks for stopping by again. So, you're starting a new plastic canvas project and you don't quite know how to get started. Well, you're in luck. I've got this interesting border to share with you. Try using this border as a foundation to get started. As always, if you're here to learn a new hobby, expand your knowledge of the craft, or to just relax, you've come to the right place. So, let's get started. First, we need our 7 mesh plastic canvas. Then we need our yarn. Then we need our needle. And finally, our scissors. We're going to be starting with a fresh drink coaster size piece of plastic canvas. These pieces are 21 holes by 21 holes. That's important if you want to put a design directly in the middle. I've already shared how to put a seamless border on a project, and I will include a link up here for that video. But today we're going to be doing something a little bit more interesting. Um, Other stitches that we use in this pattern are going to be linked in the description below, but this is going to be a nice, cool geometric pattern. So we're not going to start by cutting our yarn because I've actually already got a piece right here, but we are going to thread it in here like usual. It's folded over on itself and try to get it through the middle of the eye there because that's the widest part, and pull it on through. There we go. Give yourself enough of a tail that it doesn't fall out, and we're going to get started. All right. First thing we're going to do, I always start in the bottom right. I'm going to start with this cracker stitch here. And I chose this purple today because it is a little bit easier to see. Okay. Yep. Like usual, just hold that yarn tail on the back side there. All right, and then this is where the cracker stitch gets a little unpredictable. I'm going to go into the middle, then right here, then right here. Oop, there we go. And back into the middle. Make sure we are covering that tail there. All right, and there's our first cracker stitch complete. We're going to have a lot of crossover stitches on the back side where we're moving to a different part of the pattern, but we're not changing our yarn. And it's just going to be too much to keep track of. So my advice is to just try to make sure that we're not going through the ply when we're doing our back stitches, and that we make sure that it's as flat as possible, especially if it's going to be something like a drink coaster. You don't want it to be bulky just on one side. Now we're going to go down here. We're going to do a smaller square right here. This one's only 3 stitches wide. So there's our single. Here's our double. Again, be careful not to split any of the yarn on the back. And we're going to go back into a single on the top here. And there we have it. That's the small square. Now we're going to do a square that's not as big as the cracker stitch and not as small as this one. We're going to do the next size up. And that one's going to be 4 squares wide. Got a single, a double. Here's the triple. And a double. And a single. All right. So we have 3 different kinds of squares here. All right. We're going to go back down. We're going to make another small square here. So the small squares are just single, double, single. All right. We're going to do another medium-sized square. So that would be single, double, triple, double, single. Oop, something's wrong there. Oh, there we go. Yarn's getting a little short here. Oops. Yep. Then we're going to go back down here and do another smaller one. Oop, that's the wrong one. There we go. Right here. And we should have enough yarn to do a cracker stitch here. Again, be careful not to split the ply of the yarn on the back side. And here's that peculiar part. I've done a lot of cracker stitches in my life, but I've never done a cracker stitch in orange yarn before. I'll have to do that sometime soon. All right, we ended up having enough yarn, so that's good. We're going to weave that in the back here. Take the needle off, give it a little tug, make sure it's flat. And there's 1/4 of our border. Let's go ahead and clean up the back side here. We're going to cut the excess yarn off here. Get rid of that. And then the one that we weaved over when we started, we're going to get rid of that as well. There we go. All right. Now we're just going to repeat this pattern all the way around the edge. All right, last small square here. It's always nice and satisfying when we get to the end. You can see what it looks like when it's completed. I'm going to flip it around, and then we're just going to weave it in along this top right here. Leave that in. Take our needle off the yarn. Grab our scissors. And there we go. So now we've got this cool little border with cracker stitches, small squares and medium squares in this repeating pattern. It's a nice way to start our project. So that's it. You now know how to slap this cool geometric pattern onto your plastic canvas project. See, that wasn't so hard. Thank you for joining me today. Stay tuned because I'm going to be sharing some more cool ideas with you for your next plastic canvas project. And eventually, I will share some videos on crochet and knit as well. So keep an eye out. Heck, even consider liking this video, subscribing if you like this content or would like to see more. If you have any questions, of course, please drop it in the comment section. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.